In today's episode of Wicked, I'm going to be interviewing Tavia, and we're going to be talking about narcissistically abusive relationships. This dynamic kind of, it is a hot topic, but it's really hard to pinpoint sometimes because this is abuse that goes on for years, and most of us don't know we are being abused. While physical violence is something that absolutely needs our attention, this end of the spectrum also needs just as much as attention. This is not something that is any less than. This is emotional, psychological, and financial abuse that progresses over time. And when you are so deep into it, you don't even realize it's happening. And a lot of times you become isolated out of community and you need other people to point this out to you. We talk about growing up in religious households and how this can be a mold and shape, or even growing up with this dynamic going on with your family and your parents, and it kind of sets you up to be in these relationships unknowingly. Breaking free and having the realization that you are in fact being narcissistically abused, it comes with being in community and hearing stories like Tavia. So I'm really excited to release this episode. So let's get into it. When women dare to fully be themselves, to rise up as the divine beings they are, to operate in their magic, their sexuality, their power, they are always labeled one thing: wicked. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another awesome episode of Wicked, where I am going to be handing the mic over. This week, I'm handing it over to Tavia, who I met through TikTok, and she is a bad bitch, let me tell you. I'm so excited to do this interview. Today's focus is actually going to be on narcissistic abuse specifically, which I think is insanely important because domestic violence is not just about being physically violent with somebody. This is also about the inner trauma that occurs and the mind manipulation that transpires when you're in a narcissistically abusive relationship. This is tied in with emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, financial abuse, and the psychological aspects that take place and hormonal things that take place within a woman when being in survival mode in a narcissistically abusive relationship, somebody that is taking over your mind. It's a very slow process and you don't realize it's happening. And I think the more that we have conversations like this and we start telling our story, we can start to pinpoint the flags and the clues that this is happening, because I am telling you, it is not cut and dry. It is not by any means. And the only way we can actually be listening to our bodies more and understanding what is happening to us within these types of dynamics is by telling our stories. And I'm really excited to get into it with Tavia today. We are also going to get into how things in our childhood will also set us up for these types of relationships, specifically through religion, very unknowingly. And this is all, and also culture, because this is all so important. And when we talk about getting into these types of relationships, we have to understand as a whole how this ends up transpiring in our lives. It's not just like, oh, I ended up in a bad relationship because I attracted the wrong one. It's not about attracting the wrong one. It's that you are set up to believe that this is what love is and that this is normal. And this is what we're trying to break right now. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Tavia to introduce herself, and then we will get into the story.
Hello, my name is Tavia. On social media, you'll know me as Spiritual Auntie Tavia. I run the Clan of the Crow that attracts weirdos, misfits, and people who need a spiritual auntie to tell them what the fuck is going on, and also giving you problem solving solutions as well. That's why I'm the auntie, and you can purchase any services at theclanofthecrow.com. I'm super excited to be here
Awesome.
with you today, Mztyk.
Yes. That's why
Thank
I
you
was
for inviting
originally
me.
drawn to her, because when I started seeing her videos and popping in on her lives, she's like me. She doesn't hold back shit. So she will
Exactly.
just tell, yeah, totally
Yeah.
auntie vibes.
Yes. Takes another baddie to know another baddie. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
okay,
right.
bitch. I was like, how you doing? I was like, I like you too. All right, okay. She's a
Yep,
truth
yep.
teller. We love it.
Fucking awesome. Okay. All right. So let's get into just like the beginning. not the beginning with your religion. We'll get into that after. But when this relationship first started unfolding, you can use a fake name if you want for the person. I don't care,
Yeah, I'm
whatever
not
you want to
gonna
do.
he doesn't have any power. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
be referring to him as like him
Okay,
or
cool.
my ex,
All right,
my
cool.
narcissistic abuser.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And what I think is really funny that if I wanted to use a actual name, that's I feel like gives me power because that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid
true.
of people saying their name. So no, I'm not going to say it. So
How
this
did you
happened.
meet this?
I was 19. I was 18, and
Okay.
we met at frickin' Mervin's.
What is that?
That was my very first job. So it was like a Target, like a
Oh,
department
okay.
store, like a Sears or JC Penney's kind of thing.
Okay.
And I was like 18. It was my very first job, and I grew up extremely sheltered. So I had never had a boyfriend. I was still a virgin. I had never experienced anything in the realm of like relationships or boyfriend or girlfriend or anything because I grew up super religious. And that's when I kind of started to rebel when I got my first job. You know, you're like 18, like that's normal to want to be in a
Yeah.
relationship or to, oh, this guy likes me. Like, oh,
Right.
and you don't necessarily know the red flags or the signs. And he was a year older than me. Um, and it started out really great. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, yeah, I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to come see you. And that's all the stuff that he was doing. And it was really great. Then he was like, well, if you want to be with me, I'm moving into my own place. And the thing is, because I grew up so sheltered, I had so much shackles on me that I was just like, fuck it. Like, let's do it. Right. Because I was in love. He was in love. And he was like, yeah, like, I'll take care of you. Um, and so we ended up moving in together, I think within 6 months of actually dating, but within like a year and a half of knowing each other.
So were you still part of your religion at this point? Or
I
had,
was,
okay.
yeah. So I still was, but I was doing like obviously like secretive stuff, like seeing him
Right.
because that wasn't allowed. Because like growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, you can only date if you're ready to get married. And
Okay.
you have to date somebody that's also a Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
So there was no like outside dating. So the whole time I'm living with my parents, I'm hiding. And there was like minor sexy activity. So that was another thing. I didn't necessarily know my body either. So
Uh-huh.
I was just like, oh, this is nice. It wasn't. Now
Oh
looking
boy.
back on it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
so I was also still a part of it, even though but because I couldn't say anything to my parents and be like, hey, I want to leave.
See, this is a problem that especially because I grew up in a very religious household too, but
Hmm.
Christian. Um, and they make sex and dating so taboo that you
Right.
have nobody to talk to about it.
Right.
Where if you
Exactly.
have the openness in a family dynamic to be like,
Exactly.
your mom or somebody can be like, hey, so this isn't seeming right. And then it
Exactly.
you can have a relationship and talk if there's no adult or even like somebody within community that you can talk to, they something is off or something is wrong or monitor it any way to help you. And so
Right.
this is a huge problem, like sex being a taboo. And you see that within a lot of the like Christian-based religions like Mormonism, Jehovah Witness, even like within, like Baptist or like whatever.
Hmm.
There's 3,000 different
Right.
denominations of Christianity. So it's like, it's just I think that that's a huge issue and it sets you up for failure.
Absolutely. Because I've had this conversation. I didn't have a conversation, but I told this to my mother because my mother's still in the religion. My father and I, we don't speak. And it's his choice. Um, but when I was telling that to my sister, I was like, so you're telling me that I can only date within this group of people, but then also I'm not supposed to know my body because you're telling me masturbation is wrong. And then you're also telling me that the only time I can have sex is when I'm married to somebody, but I won't know anything about my body or what it is that I like. And as a woman, you can attest to this. We are just used.
Right.
We're not, it's nothing about our own pleasure,
Right.
so I'm like, so there's this gigantic disconnect in that. And then that's another thing because you're like, oh, you're thinking that, oh, this is normal, this behavior is normal. So I
Right.
agree.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys, so you ended up when he got his own place, you moved in spite
Mhm.
of still being, because I would assume that's a big no-no in the religion unless you're
Absolutely.
married.
So
Yeah.
So, so, so we moved in together and I left a note and I moved out in like the middle of the day when because I knew my parents were going to try and keep me there. I was going to have to go before the elders and I was going to have like, it was essentially like a witch trial. I'm dead
Right,
ass.
right.
Like
Yeah,
you
no,
sit
I
in front of
know,
these
I
men.
know.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's why you're laughing. You're like, yeah, bitch, I fucking know. So you sit in front of these men and then they sit there and then they judge you for being human now as an adult, like
Right.
being okay, this is normal. I'm a teenager. And also I was baptized as a minor, but that's a whole nother story. But like so shit like that. And I was just like, no, so I just wrote a letter. I was like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. My dad wrote me this whole letter talking about, I don't know if you know, I'm sure you do, but the story of Jacob and Esau in the Bible,
No,
where
I love when
fucking
they bring in the it's
okay,
like
so for
my
those of you who
life.
are
Yes.
listening that do not grow up in a Christian background, Jacob and Esau were twins. Jacob Jacob was the second born, Esau was the first. Jacob was making up stew and he was like, "Oh, Esau said, "Oh, I'll give you." Oh, Esau asked for stew, and I might have the people wrong. He asked for stew, and he says, "Well, give me your birthright, and I'll give you some stew." And Jacob was like, "All right, bet." And then so Jacob ended up getting the birthright. My dad literally wrote me a thing saying, "Oh yeah, don't give up your spiritual birthright
For
like
some
Esau.
stew.
Don't be like Esau."
Sorry, I'm laughing because I
No,
this
girl,
was
it's fucking
my life.
hilarious
I know
because like
this is how I grew up too. Oh
now
God.
that doesn't make sense why the universe put us together.
Yes,
Like it's
yes.
so
Oh
funny
my
because
God.
that's been happening the more I've been on my spiritual journey.
Yep.
So my dad wrote me something like that, and then I got disfellowshipped essentially, or like
Yeah.
excommunicated, or shunned, as they would say in like the Amish community. So that was a big old ordeal. And then that made it so because my dad told me that I couldn't come home, that I feel like really solidified me having to stay in this relationship
Oh,
because
right. Because where would you go?
I had nowhere to go. I did
See, the
not
whole
have a
thing
safe
is set
place.
up for failure. The
Exactly.
whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. So so you dated for 6 months and there was I mean, looking back now, do you feel like there was signs, but in the
Yes.
moment, okay, so let's talk about
Yes.
that a little bit.
So, and so I want to say to anybody who's watching this, because a lot of times there's a lot of shame for this. And I know you've said this before, and I know other people have said this before. These people don't start out this way.
Yeah.
So I want to take down people who are listening who might be going through this or have experienced this. There is no place for your shame because these people tricked you. These
Yep.
people didn't start out this way. There are little red flags that when you are in love, you don't necessarily notice, or based on religious conditioning or conditioning just as a woman, we are taught to like, oh, well, he had a hard day,
Right.
or whatever. We're
Right.
taught to make excuses,
Yes. Yes.
right?
We don't get
I,
excuses. We're
right. We
just
don't get
crazy.
excuses, but they
Yeah.
fucking get excuses. And
Yes.
so I remember, and the funny thing is now, like looking back on this, I would have been like, who the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
to?
That,
Like who
yep.
I am now.
Yes.
But I didn't have my voice because I never had a voice
Never.
until my 30s. So it was something, this was back when you used to have to pay for text messages.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I had like texted him and my phone bill was like $300. And like that was like my whole check. And so I told him, I was like, I can't like text you. And he got mad and like he raised his voice and he was like, don't talk to me like that. You're not gonna blah, blah. And I was just like, but here's the other thing. My father used to talk to me like that.
Right. I was
So that was like,
yeah.
I was just like,
You felt at home.
okay.
It's
I was like, okay.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it wasn't like now on
Yeah.
social media, I call my man Buddhist boyfriend. So I don't give out his government name. I'd be like, who the fuck do you think you are fucking talking to? Like, I would turn around and be like, excuse me,
Yeah.
but that was normal to receive that. So that was some of the things that, um, little things like that, like little
Hmm.
behavioral things that would come through, but it was normal to me because the man that I grew up with was also like that. So it
Right.
didn't feel wrong,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So that when you moved in, did things start getting worse?
Not for a while.
Okay.
Not for a while. Like everything was good when we lived in the apartment, but then we moved in with his mom
Okay.
and she needed help like paying the bills, and we were also saving for a house at the time. That is when I started to notice cracks looking back now.
Ah,
So
okay.
he had to learn this from somewhere, and it was definitely her. He was a carbon copy of his father, and his mom wasn't with the dad, his dad, and um, she was the type, and I'm saying this as a woman of color, she was the type of mother that was like, oh, my son is the man of the house, and like the relationship looking back on
Yeah.
it now had emotional incestuous.
Yeah, I hear this a lot. Like when I
So
listen to women's stories, there's always like that weird mother-son dynamic where they're like putting the son in place of the father and are like
mhm,
overly affectionate, overly they like look at them and
mhm,
like the man of the house. They like replace their
right.
ex-partner with their son.
And he was the youngest of four, but he had his shit together. Like
Okay.
all the other family, her sons were more like misfits or like had a lot of kids. So she was having to take a lot of like financial responsibility and stuff like that. But that is when I started to notice more cracks because she would disrespect me and he wouldn't do anything about it.
Mm.
And she would be like literally there was two of his brothers that lived in the house, and I was working a full-time job at the time, and I had left a pot on the stove because like something had gotten stuck on the bottom. So I was like, I'm gonna let this soak and I'll clean it tomorrow. She wrote a fucking note saying that I needed to clean, even though there was two other people in the house that didn't have jobs, and she said I needed to keep the kitchen spick and span. Meanwhile, the dishes were like up to here, and she was upset that I didn't do those dishes. Your sons are fucking grown. I'm not cleaning up after them.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to clean up after me. So those were the things that I started to notice, that my feelings never mattered. It was whatever she wanted, for her mental health, and she would like just come in and like say little things like that. And then that's when I started, now looking back on it, I was like, oh, my feelings never mattered. It was always about what she wanted, and he wanted to make her happy. And I
Right.
could come in, and that's another thing. I could say something like, oh, we should do this. And he would say no. She would come in 30 seconds later, say exactly the same thing. Oh, yeah, mom, that's a great idea. So then I also
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have respect from my partner. And then she was like, mhm.
Hmm.
So that's when I started, now looking back on it, I didn't notice it then, but those were little things that I started to notice, like, oh, my partner's not standing up for me now if I look back on it. Oh, my feelings don't matter. I'm being disrespected.
Right.
He doesn't care. Never said sorry in his life.
Right. That's oh yeah. That's a yeah. Yep. Um So, how long were you living with the mother for? Like, so did you guys, were you guys there a long time, or did you guys eventually like go back on your own?
Yeah, we eventually went back on our own. And we were there for like a year or two while we saved for a house. And this was like in 2000, like 8 or 9, like when the market crashed. So
Okay.
we got a good deal on a house, but I didn't have good credit. Here, accused financial abuse. So he was always in control of the finances,
Okay.
and he controlled whatever it is that we did, wherever it is that we paid for, whatever it is that we went. Like all the money went in his account, and I was getting like $20 a week. But that, it wasn't odd because that's how it had always been, right? Like
Like in your home, like growing up, or
no, just with
oh, just in
us.
the
Yeah,
relationship. So
yeah,
you would work, but your paycheck would go into his account, and then he would give you like allowance.
mm-hmm, right. And now looking back on it, and that's another thing that I want to tell, like just people in general, don't allow other people to be in control of your money,
Yeah.
because then something like this happens. So We got a house, but I wasn't able to be on it because my identity had been stolen as like a teenager. So and I didn't even know. So, there was like debt racked up, but I was like, I'm not going to pay it because it's not mine. And we didn't find it until later. So anyway, so the house was in his name. And then for about 5 years, he was going to school. And he's like, yeah, when I'm done, you can go. So the whole time, I'm paying for all the stuff. And then he graduated with a bachelor's because my job was able to pay for what it is because we didn't have like a big house or anything like that. It was just, something small. And he graduated with his bachelor's. And then, but the whole while now looking back on it, the abuse was loud. So I'm sorry. What was your
No.
question, Mztyk?
No, I want to, this is what I want to know. Like when you guys are back on your own, what started,
Okay. So these are the
happening and
things. So these are the things. So I'll tell you about my spiritual awakening, but prior to that, um, as an example, I would, say like, oh, like, I would say, oh, I want to get married. Like, we've been together because the total of the relationship was 14 years.
oh
So I
wow.
was,
And you guys
yeah,
never got married?
no, but
Okay.
it's a blessing,
Yeah,
a fucking
absolutely. Like holy
blessing now,
shit.
like looking
Going through
back on
court
it.
with a narcissist is the worst.
And
The
I'm so
worst.
happy that I didn't have to deal with any of that. But during this time, goalposts always started to move.
Okay.
So it would be like, well, if you have sex with me more, now looking back on it, the sex was trash. The dick was trash. Um, if maybe like the shit was good, maybe I would want to have sex more. Like,
Like
and
that
that,
that minute 30 seconds was
not even, girl. So it's one of those things where it's just like, okay, well, but that's the thing. I didn't know how to articulate that. I
right.
didn't know how to say that. And if I would have said something,
Well, and there's shame
shit
around
would
it
have
to
been
begin
torn
with.
down. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
There's sex anyway. There's
Yeah, exactly. So, those kind of things. Oh, if you clean, and then this was a big one because when I would get upset, I would yell because that's how I grew up in a household like that, where my parents, when they were angry, they would yell. Then they would come back and say, we shouldn't have spoken to each other like that. That's not okay. So, like, yelling to me was the way to get your point across to
yeah,
someone,
same.
how I
Yeah.
grew up. Right.
Cultural households, we tend to
Right.
yell. We talk loud.
Right.
We
Yeah.
just
We talk
talk
loud,
really
anyways.
fucking loud.
My South African father. So we got the brown, and then we have my Germanic mother.
Oh God.
Like,
Yeah.
right? Like, and like there was never any, like, my parents never disrespected each other when they were like yelling. They were
Yeah.
just getting their point across.
Right. One
So
talks over the other, and then it's
right,
just
exactly. But like, and there was never any swearing or anything like that. So it's like, oh, that's how you get your point across. That's how I learned to get my point across. So then he would move the goalposts. And it would be like, well, if you stop yelling at me, then we'll think about getting married. Oh, you wouldn't ever make a good wife. And then I would say things like, and then he was actively cheating on me, but I had nowhere to fucking go. So, like, one time he asked me to bring him his phone, and some girl's booty cheeks are fucking on the phone. So I say, what the fuck is this? And that's another thing. A narcissist will deny, 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 and then deny, 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 deny some more
mm-hmm.
then.
Yep.
And like, I literally had my phone and I was like, hey, bro, like, what the fuck is this? And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You have it right there. Yeah. Don't believe your eyes.
No, that's Mztyk.
Yeah.
That's what the fuck it is. And they gaslight you. The amount of gaslighting that this man did to me was astronomical.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally showing you evidence. And that's something to my logical brain that I literally was just like, but I don't understand. Like, I'm showing you that you're cheating on me. I even had a woman reach out to me and was like,
Wow.
hey, I saw that you guys are together, and it was like new pictures. So it wasn't something that like, oh, this is from a long time
Right.
ago. Oh, this is what he said his name was. He gave me his phone number. How's this bitch have your fucking phone number? But
Hmm.
the whole time, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not me. Like gaslighting, like to the max. And so these are all, I just want to let you guys know, these are all red flags.
Yeah.
All of them, okay,
Yeah.
just in case we got to say that. All of those things are red flags. And then on top of it, this is another red flag because this is what he would tell me on repeat. And I didn't know that this was abusive. So mine specifically is a covert narcissistic abuse because like uh with other people on Mztyk's podcast, a lot of it is some of, not all, because I haven't listened to all of it, but the ones that I've seen, people are talking about domestic violence.
Hmm.
That is in your face. You know that somebody is abusing you, whether
Hmm.
you can do something about it or not. I didn't know because society doesn't always talk about mental abuse.
Right.
And especially with like women,
That's
they
why
don't
this is
talk.
so important.
Right, exactly. So then this is the shit that he would say to me to try and break me down. He would say, and this is crazy now looking back on it, he admitted to it. He goes, if you think I treat you bad, just wait until you get with somebody else.
To,
Okay. Um, like, and I'm like, it's like, what? Like looking back on it, the fuck you mean? And also, if people are listening and you're in that or you're past that, that is a motherfucking lie.
hmm.
That is a motherfucking lie. Buddha's boyfriend treats me like Gomez treats Morticia Adams.
I love it.
And he's leaving. He says, babe, I'm about to go get some nachos. That's what he just said. He's as
I
he's
heard that. I'm
walking
like,
here.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Mztyk goes, yes, yes, yes. So so the people, when they tell you that it's going to be worse, here's the thing. Our bodies, a lot of times, knowingly or unknowingly, unconsciously pick what's familiar. Your
Hmm.
brain will pick a familiar terror over unfamiliar
Yes.
territory. That's just how your brain works to keep you safe,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you're like, well, I know, at least I know what's going on here, right? And the
Hmm.
thing is, I didn't even necessarily know, like my soul kind of knew that something was wrong and my soul knew that something like wasn't right, but I could never put my finger on it and I didn't know or even like understand. So he would admit that, oh, I'm not treating you good, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So um so that's how it started. And then if you have another question, I'm
Yeah.
ready, or I can
So,
keep going.
no, yeah. I want to ask this. So, like, one of the things that I think is big with gaslighting that women don't realize is happening is like, see, this is like hard to articulate because it's so
Mm-hmm.
psychological, but it's like when they do something that is like really disturbing towards you, like either verbally or like the action
Mm-hmm.
wise. And then when you bring it up, they almost like make fun of you in a way, like that was a joke or that
Yes.
I can't even
So
believe you're reacting that way. Like you can't take a joke. So then there's this thing inside you, like, oh, maybe I am just being oversensitive. And then prolonged exposure to that, you
mhm,
start thinking, I'm just like a sensitive baby and I need to like toughen my skin. And you think everything is wrong
absolutely.
with you.
Yeah. So and I want to tell you guys because there's no shame here. I didn't know that I was in a narcissistic abusive relationship until after I left.
Yeah, same.
And there's a lady on TikTok that I found out that I was in a narcissist. There are two people, two women. And I literally was like, what? And so this first lady, her name is History in 60, and she does really great pieces on like um just different like things on TLC, like Sister Wives. And that's how I knew I was watching. So she does like different breakdowns and stuff, but she's very educated. And she told me about DARVO. Have you heard of DARVO?
Mhm.
Oh, girl, I'm going to fucking change your
Okay,
life.
okay, okay.
Okay, so what you were trying to articulate is this. So DARVO is a manipulation strategy. It stands for deny, attack, reverse victim, and offend.
Okay.
Okay. So first you come to them, you tell them, I don't like it when you cheat on me. I don't like it when you talk to me like that. Don't do this to whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So what do? They deny. Perpetrator denies, and this is stuff that you can look up. Perpetrator denies whatever wrongdoing they are being accused of. First thing, they're always
Right.
going to deny. They're never going
Right.
to admit to it. Then they're going to attack you. Perpetrator attacks the other person by questioning their mental health, honesty, or actions. So they start to make you feel crazy.
Yes.
Then they're going to do reverse victim and offender, which means the perpetrator attempts to switch roles with the victim. Instead of accepting responsibility for their actions, they try to make the original victim into the
Oh
perpetrator.
my God. Yeah.
So
Yes.
as an example of this, like I like as an example, anything I want to do sexually, I could tell Buddha's boyfriend, I want to do A, B, C, D, and E. He's like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
Like how when, right? He's like, cool. Which is, ladies, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Your partner should want to please you. Okay. Your pleasure matters.
Yes.
Your partner should want to make you happy. Your
Yes.
partner should bring you to completion. Okay. Like, and these are, you're laughing because there's so many of us
I
that don't have
know.
partners
I
like this,
know. Oh
that we
my
grew up like that.
God.
So I'm here to, Auntie's here to tell you
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. And if you bring up to your partner, hey, I want to try this, your partner should be open.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I'm saying this is for, as an example, I brought up to my partner that I wanted to do some, you know, in the back, right? I don't know if I can say
You can
that.
say it's just my
Okay.
podcast.
I said, okay, she's like, bitch, fucking say whatever you want. That I wanted to integrate some spanking into the bedroom. He instantly was like, ugh. Oh, that's gross. What do you
Mhm.
mean? Oh, that's nasty. Who have you been talking to? You've changed. I don't know if I know you anymore. You're different now. Okay. And like the whole time, like that's very vanilla,
Mhm.
mind you. Like that's
Yeah.
just, we'd already been together for like, I think at least 10 years at this point. Things need to change. Like something needs to happen. Like I'm in my late
You're like,
20s
I
now,
can't
like
take the
motherfucker.
90-second missionary style.
Yeah, like exactly. Bitch, are you in my bedroom? Like same thing every time. And then it's like, okay, it's time to, let's do something different, right? And then that
Yeah.
was the response. Versus now it's completely different. Okay, well, okay, we have a safe word. Well, okay, is this okay? How about this? What about that? Like your partner's supposed to want to collaborate with you. So it's like that is another thing they do. And then there's also a cycle of narcissistic abuse. Do you know the cycle?
No.
Okay. I'm so
Let's
excited. I was
go.
like, she's
Let's
probably
go.
going to fucking know this shit. Okay. So, first, there's a blow up.
Okay.
Okay. Abusers implement tactful and this is a cycle, so it's always going to keep going. Abusers implement tactful means of destruction, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, or even sexual abuse. So whatever it is, there's a
Okay.
blow up, right? Shit hit the fan. They're making you feel like you're crazy. Then they reconcile with you. Abuser will either grovel, justify their reaction, or gaslight the survivor, right? It's one of those three. Then there's the calm before the storm. The abuser will tactfully maintain a calm in the relationship to show good faith that things will be better. This is a lie.
Yes. Yes.
This could last hours, days, or months, depending on the relationship until tension builds again. Then you're walking on eggshells. An abuser is creating tension and making criticisms, and then there's a subtle buildup to justify a future blowup. See,
Oh,
this is
right.
why I can't talk to you because you're always
Yes.
yelling, right? So
Yeah.
that was always my
Right.
excuse that I was given. See,
Yes. Me. So that, okay.
I
Yes.
can't talk to you
Yep.
because you don't listen and you raise your voice. And here's the thing, they always react to how you react. It's never what they did to you.
Right.
It's always how you reacted to the abuse, and you're made to feel like you're crazy. Another thing that
Right.
I would like to say about the calm before the storm stage, if somebody is trying to leave or you're in that, in the event that somebody is trying to win you back or get you back or whatever it is that you want to call it, or like try and smooth things over. It is a physical impossibility. This is a psychological fact. You can look it up. There's a physical impossibility for somebody to carry a mask or have a mask on for more than 3 months.
Yeah. This
So
is why I
any
say when you start a relationship, I tell everybody
Mhm.
3 months.
Mhm.
Take it fucking slow. Don't be like, this is the one. Don't go all in. Like 3 fucking months. You got to get through that love bombing phase, and you have to get through that first 3 months, because then you start to really get to know somebody, and you'll see their actions, and you'll see, like, it's very easy, especially when a man is love bombing a woman, to like be like, oh my God, he's doing all the stuff for me. He's showing up. And it's like, that's great. Why is he coming
But
on
that's
so
how they hook you
strong?
in.
Why exactly? Because it fucks with your hormones. It does. And it's
Right.
hard. It's hard to be like, okay, I'm not going to be all lovey-dovey and like floating in the clouds of like whatever.
Right.
But you have to be smart. Like you have to be smart. You can't be overly emotional. Like dating just isn't safe. Like it's not as
For
safe.
real.
Like it's just not. You can't. You have to have a guard up. You have to, because we are now intelligent, and because we are talking to each other as women, and
Mhm.
you have to let things, and don't make excuses. Do not make
Right.
excuses of
That's
things.
the
Like,
other thing.
you
When
have to
people's
see it and
masks
accept
start
it.
to fall, right? When exactly what she said, when people's masks start to fall, believe it. And so, in the event that, like, let's say you're trying to leave, they will say, I'm going to do whatever it is that I can. And guess what? They're going to change for 3 months, but those
Hmm.
changes are only ever going to be temporary to hook you in. And then that cycle of abuse is
Right.
going to continue. So, can I talk about when I actually started to like
Yeah,
see
yeah.
cracks?
Yeah.
So, I became a spiritually awakened in December of 2018. Up until that point in our relationship, I was extremely isolated. Like, I didn't go out, I didn't really go anywhere. Anytime that I wanted to go out with my friends, he would make up an excuse that I would need to come home. He wasn't feeling well, and this motherfucker was like sitting on the computer playing fucking WoW. Like, what do you need me to be here for? Like,
Right.
there's nothing to do. But because I was afraid, I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to come home because he's going to make shit bad for me. And so it was those things. So I became spiritual awakened in December of 2018. And then I cultivated a community.
Okay.
And during that time, I would be like FaceTiming with like my soul sisters. You can hear everything it is that I'm saying. Like I'm talking, right? Like, oh, we're talking about spirit guides and like deities and just like nothing, everything we were talking about was innocuous. You
Hmm.
can hear what I'm saying. And I would ask him, like, oh, do you want to meet them? No, I don't give a fuck about those people. I don't give a shit. Like, even my best friend never fucking met him,
Hmm.
and anytime he was supposed to come, and that's another thing, they will always create some type of distraction, stress, anger when it's something about you.
Yep.
They will create a fight about
Yep.
it. And also, I'm here to tell you this right now. I don't give a shit how well somebody treats you. If they don't treat you well on your birthday, they fucking hate you.
Yes. Oh my God, I bring this
Okay?
up all the time.
My soul sister,
Birthdays and fucking
yes.
holidays.
See, exactly. Yes. So my soul sister Drea was the one who told me that. She was like, how somebody treats you on your birthday is indicative of how they actually feel. I cried more times than I could count on my birthday with that man.
Yep. Yep.
Didn't give a shit that I was crying. Oh, we were supposed to go out to dinner. I don't feel good. I'm going home. The fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, and then they'll say shit like, oh, well, I tried to get this gift for you, but it wasn't going to come on time. Or like, there's always, are you laughing from personal experience? Like, it's always
Like
the
they
girl, they're
follow the
not
same
fucking original.
playbook. No, I
They're not
know.
original.
It's like
They're
a,
not
I
original at
keep
all.
saying it's like a brain program that
It
it just
is like,
like fucking,
yeah, that's being updated
because they have
constantly.
to be the center of fucking attention. So like if you're out with your friends or you're on a call, he's not the center of fucking attention, so he fucking
Mm-hmm.
hates it and has to create, like, so my ex used to create crazy emergencies. Like we were in living in North Carolina. I
Mm-hmm.
was here for the weekend so that my son could visit with his dad. And
Mm-hmm.
there was like he would relapse and fall off the fucking bandwagon and call me like he was like I'm bleeding, like all this like crazy shit, and I'm like I gotta call 911, like what is going on? I'm like I can't
Yeah.
leave early, and then I would rush in the fucking car driving 12 goddamn hours, and I'd get there, it's just him fucking like drunk on the floor.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was to make me worried, sick, fucking
Yeah.
miserable, thinking
Hmm.
about him the whole fucking
Yeah.
time because I had the nerve to like leave him for 2 days like a
Right.
fucking
Exactly. It's
grown
shit like that.
adult.
Yeah.
Hello.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So, and then they're always going to come up with like some kind of excuse. Oh, you don't care about me. What
Yeah.
is wrong with you? So finally, when I'd had enough, and this was during my spiritual awakening, I was like, all right, like, I don't give a shit like that you're mad. I'm not fucking coming home. Here's my address. You say that I'm cheating. You want to pull up? Fucking pull up.
Right.
You think I'm cheating on you? Fucking come catch me on a date, motherfucker.
Yeah. They
Never
always
one time.
accuse you of cheating because they're
See,
cheating.
exactly. I'm sorry. I'm
Always.
learning Spanish.
No.
So
Oh, I
I'm
am
like
too.
responding.
I am too.
Está bien. So I said, that's really good. That's
Yes,
good
yes.
for the English listeners. So it was always something like that. So if people aren't making you the center of attention on your birthday, or they're always creating these ridiculous ass fucking scenarios to like get you to come home, they don't care about you and they're trying to control you. So here is where shit started to crack. So my soul sisters told me he was a narcissist. Where I was in that point of my life, in my spiritual journey, I wasn't ready to hear or receive it. And the way that they were delivering it was not in a way that I could um not necessarily comprehend, but I just wasn't able to receive that. Like I needed somebody to come to me in a different way. And so spirit did. So my ex would always give me the silent treatment, but I grew up with that. So that was not
Yeah.
something that was like weird, like to not talk to somebody for a couple days. That wasn't odd. So I told my coworker, I was like, oh, my boyfriend and I, we got in a fight. I was like, oh, he hasn't talked to me in a couple days. She whipped her head at me and she looked at me and she goes, you guys live together? And I was like, yeah. She goes, how long has he not talked to you? And I was like, oh, 4 or 5 days. And I was like, like, no big deal. She looks at me and she goes, that's abusive. She says, that is abusive behavior. She goes, if somebody is living with you, and she goes, and they have not spoken to you in days, and anytime you try and talk to them, oh, what you need now? Oh, you coming back? Oh, you need me? She was like, that's abusive. And that was like a major gong because I'd experienced that my whole life.
Right.
I didn't know that that was abusive treatment. And like that was when things like started to unravel. So I've had 2 back surgeries and I was on pain medication for like almost 20 years. Because I had a major fusion as a teenager, congenital defect. Anyways, so I knew that this is in my spiritual awakening, but within the first year, I knew that if I wanted to be able to channel and to step into who I am now, that I wouldn't be able to be on this medicine anymore.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be beholden to something.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
wanted to move more towards plant medicine. And so I was detoxing alone by
Damn.
myself without medical professional help. Do not do that.
Damn.
Okay.
Girl,
On heavy
shit.
pain medication, heavy narcotics. And I prayed multiple times to not wake up. And if you've ever gone through withdrawal symptoms, I wasn't addicted to the medication. I was just dependent on it because I have severe back pain. So
Yeah.
those are two different things. So sometimes people are like, "Oh, are you addicted?" I'm like, "No, I needed it because I actually had a problem with my back." Anyways, um, I prayed multiple days. Like you want to crawl out of your skin. You
Hmm.
want to unzip your skin and you want to move out of it. Like your body's twitching. You can't get warm. Like it's like anxiety, the worst anxiety that you've ever felt times a million.
Then your pain's
Okay.
coming back on top of
Yeah.
it.
And the
Yeah.
pain's coming back on top of it. This man, not one time in 6 months while I was detoxing, asked me, did I need anything? Did I need help? Was I okay?
Hmm.
And so like I'm reaching out to my soul sisters for support and they're like helping me with meditations. They're sending me healing energy. I'm taking like 6 showers a day to try and help. Not one time was I held. Not one time, are you okay? oh, you
Yep.
gonna be all right
Yep.
while I'm
They
while
want
I'm
it from
withdrawing.
you, but they cannot give it back to you in
Exactly.
any way.
Never. Not one time. And that moment, I feel like I was like, oh, he doesn't give a shit about me.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like
It's
in
when you
that moment.
realize
In that
it's like
moment.
an extreme wake up call happens where it's
Exactly.
like, oh, you do not care. You just care
Right.
how I can serve you.
Right.
And that's it.
Exactly. And
And if you're detoxing, you're no good to him at this point because if you're, you know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
yeah, it's just a,
Yeah.
yep.
So it was then that I was just like, oh, you don't care about me. And I was like, oh, there has to be something better than this, right? And so I told the universe, I was like, this cannot be it. But I was still in the mental headspace of like, this was at the beginning of my spiritual journey of like love and light, like, nah, bitch, like
Yeah.
fuck that shit. Like, no, some people are just fucking shitty people. Like, I
Yeah.
just want to tell people out there right
Yes.
now, some people are
Correct.
shitty people. They don't care about you. And that doesn't mean that you're less than, that doesn't mean that you're not worthy. That doesn't mean that somebody else, like, and I'm here to tell you right motherfucking now, there are people that will give you exactly what it is that you want. And
Yes.
somebody else's, so his was, oh my God, you do it too much all the time. And Buddhist boyfriend now is like, oh, that's it? That's all you want?
I fucking
Do you
love
want
you.
some more? Do you want something else?
Yes.
And I'm like, maybe, maybe.
I don't know what you
Anyways,
got for me.
yeah, exactly. Now I'm like, yep, what you want? I'll take it. Yes. Um, but then, and this is where I started to think like, okay, there has to be something out there. So I got a reading from my tarot reader, and it was her and her man that did the reading. So one was from a female perspective, same cards, and the other was from a male perspective
Oh,
on
that's
the in the
cool.
same reading. They're amazing. So I did a past, present, future reading, and they used the Starman tarot decks. I don't know if you know the deck.
No.
Okay, it's David Bowie deck, and I got the Lovers card as the future card. And she's like, I don't know if you're in a relationship. She's like, but this person, she's like, girl, so on the card, the woman is like this. And then the man is behind her and his like face is here. She has honey dripping from her vagine. They're like
Ah, yo, that's
girl, you,
significant to
you
me.
gotta fucking look it up.
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing. And they're in like a honeycomb and his hands are just, like this, just like, oh yes, I can't, like, oh,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he can't get enough of her. And so she was like, this man is going to be all over you like bees on honey. And she was like, and he's going to treat you so good. I was in like a 13-year relationship at that point, and I was like, whoever she talking about, it ain't my man. I was like,
It
I
ain't
want
this
that,
motherfucker.
but it ain't fucking him, right? So I was just like, okay. And like that was like things that were like, okay, like bitch, like we're sending this, the universe was sending me signs like, hey bitch, like this
Yeah.
shit is not it. Meanwhile, how many years later? 2.5 years later, cute Buddhist boyfriend all up over me, like, white on fucking
Wow.
rice, hands like
Yeah.
an octopus everywhere all the time.
Okay, so when you left the relationship, what did
Mhm.
your healing look like? Because now it's like,
Oh,
so
I got to tell you, shit hit
yes.
the fan when I decided to leave.
Yes, tell me about the exit strategy.
Okay, so the exit. So I knew instinctively that if I said I wanted to leave first, he was going to make my life a living hell or
Yeah.
worse than it already was. So I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I did like devotional candles and shit. Like, I need you to make a way out of no way. I said, I will jump however high you tell me to jump. I was like, but I need to exit safely. And I said, I need him to say that he wants to leave me.
Okay.
Every time we would get in a fight, every single time, I don't want to be with you. So I already knew that it was just a matter of time before he said that again.
Yeah.
So we had, I needed dental work. So we had gone to Mexico to do it. And we came back and we had just celebrated our 14-year anniversary. But the crazy thing is, I heard clear as day, ain't gonna be a 15 on when we, from my spirit guys that were like, bitch, it's the last one.
Yeah.
Prepare
Just make it
yourself.
through.
Yeah. you can make it. Landing zone cleared for takeoff. Anyways, so so I said, Spirit, I need him to tell me that he doesn't want to be with me. And then I'm going to play fucking Uno reverse, motherfucker. And I'm going to be like, all right. So cue the argument. You know, he was upset about spending money, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, la di da di da. I don't want to be with you anymore. And I go, okay. First time in 14 years I ever said, okay. Normally I was groveling. They
Right.
want you to do that. I'm
Yes.
sorry. No, please. Like, no, I was like, fuck it. Because I had calculated my finances and I was like, wait, a bitch fucking making good money. Like
Right.
I work at Kaiser, which is like a major healthcare hospital here on the West Coast. So like I was making good money. I'm a lab assistant by trade and they pay you the best in the area. So when I calculated my finances, I was like, wait, I'm actually making really good money, but I didn't know it because he was
Wow. Right.
you know, and like the thing is it's like if you don't have access to it, you're not necessarily looking at it or thinking about it,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I said, okay. He didn't talk to me for a couple days. And like I was already making my exit. Like I was already looking, but bitch, this was fucking in the middle of the pandemic,
Oh
lockdown,
shit.
shelter in place. So not only did I have to leave this narcissistic abusive ex, people didn't have places for you to rent. It's
Right.
in the middle of fucking COVID.
Oh God.
Okay. Cause this was happening in like March. I ended up leaving in June. So he goes, like he was like shocked and he was like, okay, right? Didn't talk to me for a couple days. And then I made food and I was like, oh, food's here. And he tries to like hug me and kiss me. I was like, no, 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 no. I was like, we
No,
ain't
we're breaking
together.
up.
Yeah. I was like, we're not
Get
together.
out
And
my face.
at this point, I was already sleeping in the other bedroom.
Okay.
Like, no ma'am, no
Yeah.
Pam, no green eggs and ham. You told me you don't want to be with me. That's the last time you gonna tell my ass that shit. Like, fuck
Yeah.
you. So, um, so then he got mad. And then shit started to get worse. But then I knew that I had to play along for my own safety in order to leave without violence happening to me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So he was like, oh, well, please just give me like 6 months. And in my head, I already knew I was going. Like I was
Yeah.
already looking for places. I was already saving my money. Um, but he was like, just give me a chance. And he's like, yeah, I just want to enjoy the time it is that we have together. Fucking bullshit. I had an air mattress. One day he got mad, popped the fucking air mattress so that I would come back and lay in the bed with him. And I'm like, no, I'm not laying in the bed with you. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
done. Like, this is over. Then this motherfucker, never in our 14 years ever did I ever see him cry. This man got on his hands and knees and was crying like a baby girl, grabbing my shirt like this. Please don't leave me. Please. I'm sorry. Please. Like snot coming out of his nose. Girl, it was so pathetic.
Because
And
they
I'm
can't
not
be alone.
here's exactly my thing is it's like I have no issues with a man being emotional. Like I have no problem with like a
No, because
man
they do
being
it to
like
manipulate.
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying that it's not okay for people to cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm saying like literally like would not like let me go. Like my
Mm-hmm.
shirt was wet. And then when I told him no, he's like, come on. Oh, because this was the thing. He had paid off the house, but didn't put or we had paid off the house, but he didn't put my name on it. He forgot to file the paperwork to also put my name on the deed. So guess what? He had a fucking paid off house that I fucking helped pay for. So that's
Wow.
another thing is that you
Yeah.
guys protect yourselves,
Yep.
you know, get everything in writing, do it properly. Yes, people say that they love you, but then
Yeah. No, you can't. You cannot. Yeah.
so
You got to be smart.
then out of his mouth, after I told him no, you can tell the look on his face. Like the whole time, like, girl, I felt like I had, like, I'm a daughter of the moon. So I felt like a energetic just shield around me
Yeah.
because I was just like looking down and I was disgusted. And as much as I wanted to say yes to get him to stop so he would stop being pathetic, like, you fucking did this shit, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you
Yeah.
mean? Like, you didn't take care of me. You didn't love me. You were financially abusing
You had
me. And
14 years to.
exactly. And that's another thing that I said. I was like, hey, like, you had all this time, right? To
Yeah.
do all this shit. Oh, well, and then here comes the lies. Because I'm
Mm.
like, okay, well, you had all this time. Like, what the fuck? Oh, well, you don't want to know what it is if we're being truthful. He just never thought I was going to fucking leave.
Right,
That's
exactly.
what it is. Secondly, then here comes the lies. Oh, it was something in me that I felt was wrong with me, and I felt like I couldn't be a good husband to you. And I said, so then why did for 14 years you told me that I wasn't going to be a good wife?
Right.
Why did you tell me that nobody else would want me and you were going to make a good husband? Well, it's just something wrong with me, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And that's all he kept saying was, I'm sorry. Then when I would tell him no, he literally would be like, oh, devil worshiper.
Oh, yeah.
He started
They
that shit. And
attacked the
here's the
spiritual
thing.
beliefs. Mine did that too.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Living in that house when I was spiritual, I was because he was cognitively dissonant. And he I never once was like, you need to do this ritual with me.
Right.
I never once told him he needed to convert. I never even shared my beliefs with him because I knew that he would not be okay with it. So I kept it to myself. I was private about it. Anything like that, right? Then I was called a drug addict. Then,
Oh,
uh, then,
please.
then in 30 seconds later, well, let's go to the courthouse right now and get married. Like, I'll do whatever it is that you want. And I'm just like, no. Then he tells me I need to give him $1,000 a month for rent, even though the house was like totally paid off. Then it was, well, what am I going to do without you? Like, what if I lose the house? I said, I straight up went, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
I was like, you can't pay like $200 PG&E bill. I was like, and you have a bachelor's in accounting.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like a you problem. Oh,
Yeah.
and then I go, I'm sure your mom will help you.
Yeah. It's mommy.
So it was shit like that. And that's when I left. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I can to save my relationship. This man brought me a ring and he fucking proposed to me. Okay. Ugliest fucking ring I ever saw. We were together 14 years. You should know the cut. You should know the style. You should know whatever it is that I want. Q, let me tell you, ladies, there are men who will get you what it is that you want. I'm not married yet, but Buddhist boyfriend and I will be on our first anniversary. Is our first anniversary? On some occasion, Christmas anniversary, Buddhist boyfriend got me hella jewelry. Okay. And I had PTSD from my past because it was never he's like, well, I'm the one buying the ring, and I was like, but
No,
I'm the
because
one
they
who's
don't
gonna
ever take
fucking
the
wear
time.
it.
Right, but they don't take the time. They don't care about what you like. They care about them fucking selves. Like in
Exactly.
my, I never got anything that I liked. I used to ask them, like, do you even know anything I like? Like, what
No.
is even my fucking favorite color? Because the shoes that those are, he would like buy shit
Like, who
for
are you buying
himself.
these for?
Right, he would like buy shit for himself. Like one year on my birthday, so he was like a gunsmith. He built me this AR and he's like happy birthday. I'm like, I don't want a fucking AR for my birthday. First of all, I'm like 100 months pregnant right now.
Yeah.
I don't want a fucking gun for my birthday. What?
What am
Do
I gonna
you
do with
even know
this?
me? Like
No.
what? You got that for yourself because yeah, when he left, he
Exactly.
fucking took it with him. Like
Exactly.
it was for him.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, it
it
was
was
always for
nothing to do
him.
with me.
Right. So, cue the men who will do what it is that you want. I had PTSD with his boyfriend buying me jewelry. I straight up told him before I opened it, I said, if I don't like this, you're taking it back. And he just goes, I know what you like.
I love that.
And then he proceeds
It
to get me
exists,
this.
ladies. It
Yeah. And then he
exists.
proceeds to get me this
Daughter of the
moon.
moon. See, I know what you like in a 45-minute fucking conversation. A narcissist won't know shit 14 years.
But that's what I'm saying. He was like, no, now I have the matching earrings. I have the matching bracelet. But that's what
Aw,
I'm
I love
saying. Like,
it.
people will who care about you. So
Hmm.
that was the shit that happened. He told me when he really realized that I wasn't saying, he told me he was going to throw my shit out. I called the police and I talked to an officer and I was like,
Hmm.
hey, is that legal? And we only lived like 5 minutes away from the police station. And he was like, the police officer was like, that is not legal. He goes, you guys are essentially, California doesn't have common law marriages. He's like, but you're essentially in a common law marriage. He goes, if he does that, he's like, you call us. He's like, that's illegal,
Yeah.
and he never asked me to leave anyways. And then once I finally left, I thought that I could be cordial, not even knowing that he was abusive to me, right? Because I grew up
Right.
in all of this. And then my final straw was he threatened me. Because he was like, oh, you don't care about me, this, that, and the other. I know where you live. I know your social security number. And that's when I was like, fuck you, motherfucker. I straight up said,
Yeah.
you're threatening me. I know where you live. I will call the police.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, don't fucking play with me. And then the craziest thing was a couple years ago. Sometimes I feel like in our spiritual journey, when we've healed certain parts of ourselves, we kind of have to go back and look at that versions of ourselves
Yeah,
to see how far
absolutely.
it is that we've come.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked him up on social media, and this was before I was with a Buddhist boyfriend. And his last straw that he tried to like get me back, and he was a very private person. And this is another thing, is that narcissistic abusers don't want you to talk to other people, because
Right.
when you talk to other people, like I talked to my coworker and she was like, oh, you need to leave. Or then I had two other coworkers, and this changed my life. My one coworker goes, you should leave now when you're in your 30s. She says, don't wait to do it like I was in my late 40s.
Yeah.
She was like, run.
Yep.
Everybody else is like, well, 14 years is a long time. And is it really that bad? Don't fucking say shit like that to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
You don't know what is going on behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Okay. And so, what was my point that I was going to make? Oh, social media. So I go on his social media, and this was from 2020. So this is like probably in like 2022 when I saw this. This man wrote a telenovela about everything that he did for me. And he never put my name.
Oh my
He
God.
never put my
Oh
name.
my
And here's
God.
my
It's
thing.
classic narcissism, man.
Exactly.
Oh my
Here's my
God.
thing. I never spoke anything bad about him. I didn't say anything to his family. I didn't say anything to his mama. I didn't talk bad about him, and I
Yep.
could have. I chose
Right.
not to. I just wanted to walk away. I just wanted to be done. Like I don't,
And
and that's the
and
other.
generally that is how it is. Like the victims usually are just like, I just want to be done with
Yeah,
this
I
and
just
move
want to be
on. And we
done.
don't go bad mouth. We don't even want to fucking talk
Exactly. Or
about
like people
it.
are like, well, how could you have walked away from a house that was half yours? That is your prison.
Mm-hmm.
That is your karma. And every time you walk around in there, guess who you might be thinking about? And
Mm-hmm.
also, you don't get to have my energy anymore.
Right.
So, anyways, on social media, he bad mouths me, and he goes, this is to show everybody that it doesn't matter how long that you've been with someone, they'll leave you at the first chance that they can get. And then he goes, um, I took her to hundreds of restaurants. I paid for her medical and dental. No, you didn't, motherfucker, because you weren't working for the last 5 years that we were together. Secondly, then he's like, I did this, I did that. And the funniest part of everything, all the things that he said that he did, every single one was financial. Not
Mm-hmm.
one time did he say, I loved her so much.
Right.
She was so, her spirit had nothing to do
Nothing.
with me.
No, it's like a
Nothing. I
tally
was an
chart.
object.
Yes,
I
exactly.
literally was an object.
Because
Mztyk.
they don't feel like that. It's just yeah, it's everything is just an exchange of what they can get.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
then
that's what he said. Go
yeah,
ahead.
and then like putting it on social media and all that. It's like because narcissists need to control how everybody views them. And they
Mm-hmm.
need to feel like either they're the victim of something or that like they're the best and look at can you believe that this is what she did to me? Like
Mm-hmm.
they have to always look like they are the greatest thing of all time.
Absolutely. And so that when I saw that, oh, he didn't put anything on there about me as a person, it was just literally everything that he did that he didn't even do was on there. And then the funniest part was his family, oh, she didn't deserve you. Oh, you're gonna have somebody else who's gonna treat you better than me. Yeah, okay, like fucking good luck with that
Yeah.
shit, for somebody to. And so like I just pray to the universe that I the only thing, and I probably will never know, but I just want to know how his karma was served to him.
Yeah.
That's all I want to
Yeah.
know, like that's it. I don't need to be a part of it. I just want like something in the mail saying oh, he lost everything, you know, like
Ah, here's
he
the
lost
letter
his
I've
health.
been waiting
Yeah,
for.
yeah. Like I'm just curious, right? But when I saw that, I was happy that I saw that because that was like the last chain that needed to break. And that I didn't even know that needed to break, but it made me laugh
Yeah.
because I literally was like, oh, and then his friends are like, oh yeah, fuck her, blah, blah, blah. And these people knew me. And you know your friend is full of shit.
Right.
And then before we even left, he had one of his friends try and counsel us that went to school for like psychology.
Oh my
And he was like,
God.
okay, well, why do you feel like you want to leave? I didn't say this. So I was like, I didn't know at the time, but I was like, the sex is trash.
Yeah.
Secondly, I told him, he asked me, he was like, it's 11:11. He asked me, he goes, oh, well, what else? And then I told him about my detox. And I was like, and he didn't give a shit. Like people at my job, when I said, oh, I'm not on my medication anymore, I'm so excited. My girlfriend was jumping up and fucking down for me,
Yeah.
Mztyk, hugging me. We were jumping around and she was
Yeah.
so excited. And she's like, oh my God, congratulations. Like, good for you. That's amazing. Like, do you know what you just did? Or like when I tell Buddhist boyfriend, like all of this, his jaw's always like, like me
Yeah.
telling the whole story about everything it is that I've been through. And like, you didn't give a shit. Like, and the more comes out, the more you unravel, like, oh, this person, didn't ever really care about me. But then for me, I feel like it's a testament to myself and other women who experience this. That didn't make me hard.
Yeah.
That didn't make me angry and like push away one of the amazing things that came to me because I could be
Yeah. I
totally
think
angry and
this
be
is
like,
what's
fuck
important.
everybody. And
I
that's
think this is
okay if
what's
you're there.
important.
And that's
Right.
okay. There's no shame in that.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah.
say that.
I think this is really important too because going through abusive relationships, it's very easy to just harden yourself and be like, fuck this, I don't even want to bother like trying. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, and then especially if you've experienced multiple, but like,
Mm-hmm.
and I get like there being a time period of healing where you just need to be alone because like you have to
Absolutely.
process all of the trauma that you've been through and
Mm-hmm.
listening to stories like this or like actually seeing other people in relationships to actually like get your bearings again because especially when you're in a narcissistic relationship you tend to lose the majority of your personality because it's so focused on the partner your
Absolutely. I
partner.
didn't know who I was.
Right.
I had no
And
idea who I was in
it
my 30s.
sneakily happens. Like you don't
Right.
realize how much of your life is focused on the other person. So you have very little of your personality left. So then when you get out of that, it's like this freeing, and then you start to
Absolutely.
rediscover who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it is important to be like not so yeah, not to let it harden you, to be like there, because it's not every man. It's not every man is trash. Like
Sure.
you're proof of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, unfortunately, there's just like, I think what's happening really is that there's an insane amount of women finally coming out and talking about it. So like what we're seeing in our feeds and like we're finally sharing our stories. So
Absolutely.
because of algorithm stuff, like it's at our attention that there's a huge issue right now in the
Right.
masculine dynamic and that this happens it's way more common than we think. Because I can look at all the men in my family, they're all sweethearts to their wives. Like my dad, his
Mm-hmm.
brothers, you know what I mean? Like the way my grandfather took care of my grandmother. Like I look
Mm-hmm.
up to that like my whole life. So it's not all, but like
Right.
I think it's just like being so focused on right now because it's been hidden for so long, you
Right.
know?
We actually have voices and we can actually talk about it and share. And that's
Yes.
what they don't want. They don't want us to use our voices because I used to have shame about this. Like, how could I have done this? And the more I've experienced or the more research I've done or things that will pop up, like those cycles that I shared with you, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, like they're a machine. Like
Yeah, it literally is
they
like a
do that. Like
machine.
like you said, they're it's a freaking program. And I want to say, you guys, it's never your fault.
Yeah.
Like, and like I said at the very beginning, they don't start off this way. So don't beat yourself up. And here's the thing, here's another statistic that my soul sister shared with me. When you're in an abusive relationship, it can take over 10 times to actually leave your abusive partner.
Yeah.
So like for me, I had nowhere to go.
Right.
I didn't have a safe space. And my mom and I, we had because my mom is still married to my father, and my father disowned me once I left the religion. but is talking to my sister who did the same thing because she's not baptized. Fucking bullshit. Anyways, um, I had a healing conversation with my mom because I had to also give my mom an ultimatum, like either you're all the way in my life or you're all the way out. Like I'm not accepting breadcrumbs anymore. I'm not open to that in this area of my life. And she was like, well, why did you stay for so long? I said, Mom, I had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I had nowhere to go. And that was another part of my healing journey because I had to say that to my mom.
Yeah.
And like imagine I'm not a mother. I don't want to be a mother, but like imagine if like your kid said that to you, like, well,
Yeah.
mom, I wanted to come home, but I couldn't because
Right.
you wouldn't let me. So like, but that's another thing that through this journey, I've also had to share that with her. And that was probably extremely hard to hear because if it was up to her, I would have been allowed home.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
another part of like healing those
Yeah.
relationships as well.
Wow. So, I want to touch a little bit on like the religious upbringing
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like, especially when you're like when you grow up in a religion, especially like a cult religion, and
Yeah.
especially as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
um, everything is about servitude and male-centered, and it's very patriarchal. And I notice in a lot of women that I talk to, women that I've interviewed,
Mm-hmm.
they will have some type of like religious upbringing that is like that. And then their reality check within the relationship comes when they leave religion and go spiritual.
Yes.
Because
So
all of a
it's
sudden
actually
it loses that control.
right. So I didn't know that I grew up in a cult until maybe a couple years ago. So I was talking to my soul sister, Drea, and she's a Libra. And so she researches everything like religions, like everything. She's like, nope, I've dived deep into it, which I love. So she she was very gentle with me and she just told me a story. She was talking about me to me, but she wasn't telling me that she was
Right,
talking
right.
about me. She like let me connect the dots on my own. So she goes, so a cult, she goes, is essentially a religious group that is extremely controlling. She goes, and what do I mean by this? She's like, they tell you who you can talk to. She's like, they tell you who you can hang out with. And there's an extreme form of isolation. She goes, and a lot of times, and as she's saying this, I'm just like, like my jaw is like dropping as she's talking
Yeah.
because she's just like she's throwing darts and they're hitting a bullseye every single time. And she goes, what they do is she says they start with a bait and switch. She's like, so if you weren't born into this religion, she's like, they will do a bait and switch and essentially, oh, we would love to have you come, this is great, but guess what, you're going to have to put away the worldly things in order if you want to be a part of us because we're having such a great time. And I'm like, I saw that more times than I could count with people that they would try and bring into the
Yeah.
religion, like, oh, come to this event, come with us. And then after like a month, hey, if you want to keep coming and enjoying the relationship here, you are going to have to say goodbye to everybody else, right? And the funny thing is, when she told me that a couple weeks prior, I saw a lady on TikTok, and she literally described that exact thing. And she's like, all we were doing was playing volleyball. She's like, and the girl's mom that was a Jehovah's Witness, well, if you want to keep playing with us, you're going to have to start coming to meetings. She's like, and that's how I knew it was a cult. So based on that, Spirit had dropped that little information, right? She goes,
Yeah.
so in cults, she's like, they work on extreme control. They tell you how to think, they tell you how to feel, they isolate you. She's like, and especially if you're a woman, she goes, you're always going to be less than. And she goes, and the other crazy thing is she's like, they sell you a really great place to go after you die. She
Hmm.
goes, but they keep you fearful so that way you adhere to the religion. Like, oh, and then if you want to leave, she goes, then they're going to isolate you. She's like, they're going to shun you. Oh, you can leave, but guess what? You can't talk to your kids. You
Hmm.
can't talk to your family. You can't talk to your friends that you've known your whole entire life. She's like, and then they try and isolate you from that. She goes, and so in the event that you do try and leave, she goes, then you have to leave your whole life behind, which I did. I literally had to leave my entire life behind. I was not able to talk to anyone at all. She goes, and then you can potentially cue in a narcissistic abusive partner because you are so used to that control. You're used to keeping your head down. You're used to the rules. You're used to thinking inside the box. You're used to people telling you no. You're used to people saying, you can't go here. You can't do this. You can't do that. So for me, it didn't feel wrong.
Right.
It was
I was just gonna say the what you're
same
listing
thing, different
off,
font.
yeah,
Yeah.
is being
Same
in a
person, different
relate.
font.
Yes, yep, it's the same exact thing.
Right. She goes, and then she says, cue your spiritual awakening, which is exactly when the tower started to fall and shit started to crumble and threads started to get pulled. Because she goes, because then she's like, your higher self comes online as like, nah, like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And like, so I started to get harder to control because I was like, I'm not doing anything wrong. You literally hear me talking to these people.
Yeah.
I'm not, you can see that I'm talking to a woman. You can hear that I'm talking to a woman. Why are you upset? And then that was when my ex would get upset because all the structure that he had created of like, oh, well, you need to always pay attention to me. I'm in the house, motherfucker.
Right.
You can hear what I'm saying, motherfucker. You
It's not
know, like all,
enough. It's not
yeah, no,
enough. They
but what
need
I'm
your
saying is
attention.
all those rules that he had, like, okay, you need to be home with me. I need to be where I can see you, where
That's
I can hear
crazy.
you. Okay, cool. I'm here where
Oh
you
my
can see me or you
God.
can hear me,
Yep.
and you don't like it. And then the more spiritual it is that I started to become, I was like, this doesn't feel right. And then
Right.
cue me talking to my coworker. Then I was like, oh wait, this
Yeah.
isn't this isn't right. So it essentially like lines you up because people are like, well, how did you not know? If you were born into something and you experienced it
Right.
your whole life,
It's all you
it's
know.
not going to be weird. Like as you know, like let's say you never had running hot water in your home because you lived in a tropical island. You're going to be like, yeah, no, that's normal. Like, but to me, I'd
Yeah.
be like, what do you mean you don't have hot water?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like, no, we don't need hot water here, right? Like that's normal to you, but here that's not normal. Like you need hot water. So it's
Yeah.
like when people say that, I'm like, and the thing is when it's covert like that and you've been conditioned
Right.
for your entire life, it's really easy to move into something like that because you don't know the red flags. Because specifically with religion and the religion that I grew up in, you were taught to not listen to your body. You were
Right.
taught, no, this is what the Bible says. This is what Jehovah says. This is what it says that we have to do. And
Yep.
obviously, man corrupts religion. But all of those um like nervous system things that would
Yeah.
like flash, I didn't have that because I had never built that up. And
Right.
until I started to regulate myself, then I was like, wait, this it feels wrong. And I already knew, like I said, I didn't know that I was in an abusive relationship until after I left. It wasn't until I started to listen and learn and hear more. And then I was like, oh, fuck. So that's why I feel like it's so important to talk about it because people are like, well, how didn't
Yes.
you know? If this is normal, you're not going to cue anything as being different
Right.
or wrong.
Right, right. And you've been taught to not listen, especially as a woman, like our bodies are the most important. That is
Mm-hmm.
what our main intuition is. So when
Right.
you're literally taught to turn it offline because it's like, don't listen to yourself. You have to listen to this book here that we are interpreting for you.
Right, exactly. And we don't want you to ask any questions because, like,
And it's
and
the
the
devil.
more,
It's the devil if you're
exactly,
listening to
a
your body.
thousand
Everything's
percent,
the
that's
fucking devil.
always what
Like,
it was.
yeah.
Like, and like the more I've been spiritual, I'm like, because my uncle was also disfellowship, my mom's brother, and his wife. I heard her once say somebody was asking her if she wanted to be Jehovah's Witness, and she goes, "I don't want to be part of a religion that breaks up families."
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it at the time. I fucking understand it now,
Yeah.
you know, or just things like that. Then I'm just like, or like looking back on like things that I would question, like when we were talking about masturbation and sex. So, as an example, if you're telling me, so we're going to speak logically here for a second. If you're telling me that I cannot have a sexual relationship with another person unless I'm married, wouldn't the opposite end of the spectrum be you should know your body and you should be able to self pleasure so that that way you don't go over here and find it with somebody
Right.
else?
Right.
No, you can't do either. I'm sorry, like that doesn't make any
You
sense.
must just suffer in your horniness.
Yeah, or I didn't even fucking know what any of that even meant.
Yeah.
Or then like Isaac being told, Abraham being told to kill his son Isaac. Could you
Mhm.
ever, you're a mom, could you ever imagine
No.
if one of your gods said, you need to kill your kid? I'd be like, fuck you.
Right.
You
I'd be like,
fucking
oh, I'm
crazy.
definitely talking to the wrong spirit. Like, but they won't call that a demonic entity.
And insert crickets, this
Yeah.
cricket sound in here. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, the more like I'm like, I like listen.
I know.
My boyfriend grew up Buddhist, so he never read the Bible, he never went to church, he went to temple. And
Yeah.
like Buddhism in and of itself is just how are you um in relation to your suffering, right?
Hmm.
Impermanence, are you a good person? Compassion, it's about you as a whole. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's why we really work well together. So when I tell him these stories, he's just like,
Right.
excuse me, because he's
No, I
never
know
been
when you tell people that haven't been exposed, it's like, what? You believe what?
what do you mean? What do you mean that your principals teach you to just be a good person?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
having grown up in an uber religious household.
Yeah. So when you left the relationship, was there like what did your healing look like and were you actually afraid to date? And like did you meet Buddhist boyfriend? Like was he like the very next one?
No. Oh girl,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
So after I left, so I left down in the middle of COVID, shelter in place, and I was renting a room. And this was during like the moratorium. Governor Gavin Newsom was like, I don't know if this was nationwide, but you couldn't evict somebody during COVID in 2020 when it was the
Okay.
lockdown. The lady that I was renting a room from, she told me when I got there that her mom was going to be moving in. And so I asked her, I was like, okay, well, why are you telling me this? Like, do you need my room? And she goes, no, I'm just letting you know. 2 weeks later, oh, hey, my mom needs your room in the middle of shelter in place during lockdown. And you also couldn't have like any visitors. And I'm like, I'm fucking grown, right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, I found another place. Um, I was able to have, because I couldn't afford a place on my own at the time. And so I moved out and I was renting a room. And no, girl, I was a hoe. I was a fucking hoe. So, like, for all of the people that are like, oh, you shouldn't do that when you're spiritual, be safe. Why are you laughing?
I was like waiting for like, oh, I met this guy. You're like, I was a fucking hoe.
I was on lockdown for 14 years
Oh
and I was
God.
a virgin when I met that person. Fuck
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit.
You were
I
like, I
wanted to
need to know
try
what the sex shit's all about.
for real.
I
Like,
want to
I
be
wanted to
someone that's more
have
than 60 seconds.
everything in the rainbow. And you know what? That was really integral to my spiritual healing,
Hmm.
specifically coming from a background where sex was wrong.
Right.
And like, you're not supposed to honor your body. You're not to like, I was telling men left and right, that shit was awful. No, I didn't have a good time. Fucking lose my number, blocked.
Wow. No, that's a big
Like,
deal. That's a big
it
deal that you
is.
went from one extreme to the other within one relation, like the only relationship you've ever been in, and then it's like over, and then like, you are doing what most women have a hard time doing in
Mm-hmm.
long-term
And the
relationships.
thing is, I want to say, because I don't like, there's a spiritual stigma of like, oh, well, you should only keep your energy for one. Shut up. Like, it's whatever the person wants and whatever the person is comfortable with.
Hmm.
And my thing is like, to me, that mirrors shame in the religious community.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, do whatever it is that you want. Do whatever it is that makes you feel good. Because for me,
It's gonna vary from individual to individual. And this
exactly.
is where it like women are kind of taught to not trust themselves with anything. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that like um a part of a woman understanding her own energetic field when it comes to sex um comes through a time period of exploring with it and understanding that energy. And then
Absolutely.
you refine things over time.
Right,
Like, you know what I
exactly. And
mean?
so for me, and that was also me taking my power back because
Hmm.
I was choosing, nope, I don't like this. Nope, this is
Right.
good. I'm down for this. I'm not down for that, whatever. And I was able to create my story. And then girl, I met this guy, and I was only down for like, I was just DTF. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
interested in anything else. Then when he's like, oh, I think we should be in a relationship, shit didn't start to add up. Girl, he was fucking married. Okay. But I was able to be in that relationship prior to me knowing it wasn't even a relationship. I was able to like be myself. Right.
Yeah.
And then I feel like had narcissistic tendencies, but it was different. So, like how my ex kept me suppressed, this guy wasn't being honest with me. And he
Hmm.
was manipulating me by not telling me the truth.
Right.
Right. And then I did digging and I found out he was freaking married. 2 years later, he was still like blowing up my phone. And so I ended up telling him, like, I'm going to tell your wife if you don't leave me alone. Because he
Yeah.
kept bothering me. Anyways, I ended up telling her. She said it wasn't the first time. So after that, I did the opposite extreme, and I was celibate for almost like 8 months.
Hmm.
But I knew, because I had already done my sexual exploration, which I feel like was extremely integral to like me taking my feminine power back, and
Yeah.
realizing like, no, I'm in control. I can choose what it is that I want. That's when I went into like an 8 month like hermit mode, and I got my
It's
two cats.
integration.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
got my two cats, and it was the loneliest time of my life. And that's the other end of the extreme in the spiritual community that I've heard of, like, oh, I'm so excited being celibate. Fuck that shit. So if you were like me, I understand that it was very, I needed it
Hmm.
cathartically. Like you said, I needed to integrate. I needed to be alone. I needed to find out what it is that I want without anybody else being in my energetic field. If you don't like it, you're not crazy.
Hmm.
Okay. Because some of these women, that's another thing. Some of these women that I've seen in the spiritual community will make you feel like you're crazy for
Hmm.
wanting to be a sexual being. And that is where our
No.
energy centers are. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Right. So that is when I started to manifest Buddhist boyfriend. And within a month, so my girlfriend, my best friend, I told her this online dating shit isn't working. And this was like in month 3 or 4. This is in 2020 or 2022. And I was like, oh, these guys aren't working. And Spirit was speaking through her. And I was so fucking pissed. She's not spiritual like that, but Spirit was speaking through
Yeah.
her. And she
Yeah.
goes, then maybe you need to stop dating people right now. And maybe you just need to be alone. And I was like, bitch, fuck you.
Yeah.
But she was right. Um, and it was the loneliest time that I ever had in my life. But I feel like it was like very necessary,
Hmm.
because that is when I learned to not sabotage my emotional boundaries for
Yeah.
anyone.
I love that. Hmm.
If you're not meeting me here, fuck, I'm swiping left.
Yep.
Fuck that shit.
Yep.
So I started a manifestation journal, of what I wanted in a partner. And the only 4 things that I had on the beginning of it was emotionally available, emotionally articulate, emotionally intelligent, and has to be okay with my spirituality,
Hmm.
because my ex was never openly emotional or vulnerable. Anytime I wanted to speak or talk about anything, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And everything always got swept under the rug until the rug was touching the ceiling over 14 years. So I was
Yep.
like, no, I'm never going to be in anything like that again. And the more I started dating, not even meeting people, by the way, just specifically, what are you looking for? If they told me, I don't know, you ain't going to find out with me. Bye
Right.
bye.
Right.
Because like, you are not bringing anything to the table that I can't already do myself.
Right.
So like, I don't need you to pay my bills. I don't need you to take care of it. And that's another thing. I moved out of the apartment or that I was in, and I moved into an apartment by myself, and that for 3 years. And that was really, I feel like, integral also to like me doing whatever I wanted,
Hmm.
and like being able to do
Yes.
what I wanted.
Yes.
So the more I started dating in a month period, I ended up having 4 pages, and it just kept going on and on and on. Ladies, when I tell you Buddhist boyfriend checked every single box, every single box, every single box without me having, I'm dead ass, without me having to say it. The people that you want is out there. The
Yeah.
love that you want is out there. How you want someone to treat you is out there. But people stop before they get to that point,
Hmm.
because they feel like, oh, well, and people always would tell me, well, they would always tell me, oh, what did they say? Oh, your expectations are too high. I said, for you,
Right. Right.
for
I hate
fucking
that. I
you.
hate that shit.
Yeah,
I hate
don't
that shit.
don't limit
Stop telling
me.
women to
And when
lower their standards.
fuck that.
That's the
Hell
fucking
no. Like,
problem.
exactly. And so I put on there like his family must love me. His family fucking loves me. Like loves me. Like I can go over there and he don't have to be there. And every time I'm not there without him, oh, where's your girlfriend? And they're going like,
Yeah. I
is
love
she coming
that.
in behind you? Or, you know, I put a whole bunch of sexual stuff on there that I wanted. I put like how he's gonna talk to me, like just everything. And how that's how you manifest is you focus on what you want to feel.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
was like, I want to feel like Morticia Adams.
Yeah.
I literally wrote
Yeah.
that down.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying. Here's the thing: there was somebody that I met before Buddhist boyfriend that was probably like 60%. Don't stop until you get to 100%. I didn't care that I was hurting somebody's feelings. Nope. Oh, you lied to me. Oh, nope.
Oh yeah. No,
Nope.
no, no.
Or
I
you're
won't do
telling me,
lying. No,
yeah,
at
you're
all.
telling me that, oh, we're going to talk about having children. I want my room to remain barren. I'm
Hmm.
not trying to have any kids. I'm
Right.
not interested in that. And then some of the men, oh, well, we'll talk about it's my, and then you
No.
know what he says? He's
Yeah.
like, it's your body, your choice. Like, fuck you mean?
Yeah.
So what you want is out there. You just have to continue to move towards it. And anything that isn't what it is that you want, say no. Because the universe will test you. Are
Yeah.
you sure? Well, I'm kind of giving you what it is that you want a little
Yeah.
bit, but not all the way. And I said, no, I want all of it.
Yeah.
And they delivered.
I love that. I love that. So what other than what you just said, do you have any other like advice to women that you would be like, I wish somebody told me this when I was,
Yes, red flags will never go away.
yeah, don't
Red
paint them
flags will never go
green.
away. They
Yeah.
will always compound, they will always get worse. And at the first sign of those things, that is when you need to watch out. Because, like I said at the beginning, these things don't start out that way.
Hmm.
And the other thing that I said is 3 months.
Yeah.
Somebody cannot keep a mask up for more than 3 months. And then also, what somebody told me, which I feel like has been very important, is don't move in with somebody unless you have been with them for at least a year and you've seen them in every single season and you have seen them in different states of emotions.
Hmm.
How are they when they're angry? How are they when they're happy? How are they when they're disappointed? How are they when they're upset?
Yep.
And the other thing is, your partner should never take their anger out on you.
Hmm.
So, like at the very beginning of our relationship, this boyfriend came and saw me. There's no fucking parking where I used to live. So he parked at the liquor store. His fucking car got towed. And that was a moment of PTSD for me because I was like, oh my God, like he's gonna come in and he was like, okay, when can I pick up my car? Okay.
Hmm.
All right, how much is it gonna be? Okay. He's like, babe, can I stay here until he's like, can you drop me off? And I was like, yeah. Like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And then
Right.
he's like,
An
okay, he's like,
emotionally regulated male.
right?
This is what
And
it
then,
looks like.
right. But in
Yeah.
my past, it would have been
Right.
my fault that he parked there.
Correct.
It would have been my fault that his car got towed. I would have had to pay.
Yep.
And he was like, no, he goes, I parked there. You told me my car could have got towed. He's like, and it did. He's like, so he's like, ain't nothing I can do about it.
Yep.
He's like, come on. He's like, let's get back in the bed. Let's cuddle.
I
And I
love
was just
that.
like,
I love that.
okay, so
Yes.
that's the other thing. Your partner shouldn't do that. Your partner should never put you down.
Yep.
Your partner should never call you out of your name. And if you are asking for something, you should never have to beg your partner to understand you.
Yeah.
And you should not be with someone that you need to translate your soul language to.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ever. And that's what my lady said in that reading. She was like, this is going to be somebody that you're not going to have to translate your soul language to. He came with annotations, like shit in the like little marked dog-eared pages. I'm being serious. Like he knew me.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. A relationship is supposed to be easy. Love is not supposed to be a battlefield. So
Yeah.
when I hear people, and then also another thing that I wish somebody would have told me is that your partner should be your friend.
Hmm.
Like you should have like we have so much fucking fun. Like your relationship should not be a struggle.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be like, oh well, we're going through like obviously shit happens,
Yeah,
life
there's
happens.
seasons. There's
I'm not talking
seasons.
about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm specifically talking about because everybody's always like, oh my God, you guys are like best friends. I was like, this is what it actually looks like when you like your partner.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should be with somebody who likes you, and you shouldn't be with somebody who wants to change you. That's
Right.
another thing that I wish
Right.
somebody would have told me because I always was having to change. And like with him, he's always just and then another thing about narcissists is that they will pinpoint things that you're really good at and they'll try and make you feel shitty about it or
Yes.
uncomfortable. So
Yes.
as an example, people always tell me, "Oh, your voice is so calming," or when they talk to me, oh, I feel so much better just hearing your voice.
Yeah.
Right. And I have a beautiful singing voice. He used to tell me I couldn't sing. I was so
Yep.
fucking annoying.
Yep.
Nobody would want to hear me, no one would talk to me. Buddhist boyfriend's just
Oh, I love
like when I'm
it.
talking. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So if somebody's
Yes.
putting you down or telling you that there's something wrong with you innately, and then they also never, ever, 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 ever work on themselves, and you're
Yep.
the only one who ever has to do anything or change anything, that's a red freaking
Yeah.
flag. And then
Yeah.
also, you need to take off your rose-colored glasses because flags, they just look like red flags. They just look like flags when you have rose-colored glasses
Right.
on.
Right.
You got to take it off so
Don't
that you
be
can see.
afraid to be alone so that
Exactly.
and paint the roses red. Like it's don't paint the flags a different color than they are. Like you're better off being alone and integrating and doing more
Absolutely.
work and then on to the next. Like that's what dating's for. I've said this to
Exactly.
so many people, like you're dating. Like that's what dating is for. It's to get to know somebody. It's to see if you're
Yeah. Is
compatible.
this going to
And
work
if it's
out? Do you
not,
want to
like
do
you don't
this?
have to cling right away. Like
Mm-mm.
it's just that's what dating is
Yeah,
for.
because it's the desperation of the, is there
Yeah.
going to be somebody else? Like, and that's where I feel like I leaped in my when I was single because I was like, you can't bring me anything that I already can't do myself.
Right.
And
Right.
I told him, I was like, you need to add to my life. Also, one more thing, establish boundaries at the fucking
Yes.
gate.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I was at dinner with him, like this is like our third date, and I straight up go, you are never going to tell me what to do. I said, you are never going to tell me where I can go. I said, you are never going to tell me what time I need to
I
be
fucking
home.
love you. You're like
I
my
said, you are
sister.
never going to tell me what I can wear. I said, you're never going to tell me how I can decorate or adorn my body because my ex hated piercings,
Hmm.
hated tattoos. Like I got like 8, maybe 7 after I left him because I wanted to look the way I wanted to live. And I
Hmm.
said, and you're never, and I said 5 more things. And he's just sitting there like, okay. He looked at me like that and he goes, I I would never. But now knowing his family, he comes from a family of strong women.
Yeah, I
And
love
he goes,
that.
and we know what to do with them when we get them. And
Yeah,
he goes,
yeah.
and I think I'm the right man for the job. And I was like, say less.
I love
I
that.
said, say
Yes.
less. And he is. So that's what I'm saying. Too many people, like, because if that would have turned him off, he's not the one for me.
Right,
He's not the one
exactly.
for me.
Don't be afraid.
If he didn't like that, I told him straight up, if this is what you're going to try and do, we cannot be together. He goes, no, he's like, I love that you're fiery. He
Yeah.
goes, he's like that. Like we were driving the other day and some guy with a MAGA hat, somebody was like in front of me going 60 miles an hour. We're on our way to the lake. This motherfucker rolls down his window. This old white man, by the way, I'm a woman of color, half. He's like screaming at me, like because he wanted to get in front. There was nowhere to go, and I go, and so I pop off like, "What you say, motherfucker?" Blah 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 blah. So then, oh, you think I'm going slow? Guess what? I'm gonna speed up so your ass can't get in fucking front of me. Right? Like, don't fucking play with me while the Buddhist boyfriend is sitting in the freaking passenger seat.
He's like,
So I speed up, right? This guy almost like hits us and I'm on the horn. So I slam on the brakes and then he still couldn't get in front of me. And I was like, I'm sorry that you had to see that. And he was like, you're hot. So like, you're not going to scare away the right person.
yeah,
And if the person
exactly.
is like, because before I would have been like, oh, maybe I shouldn't show that side of me. Fuck that. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not all loving, like, I'm staging hood and I wish a motherfucker would. Like, I don't give a shit, you know? So you have to find somebody who Find somebody who accepts you for you, all
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, I love this. This was such a good
I
conversation.
agree.
Thank you
I
so much
agree.
for coming
Thank you
on
for
today,
having
Tavia.
me.
So if anybody wants to reach out to you for either readings or just to talk more about narcissistic relationships, where can they find you?
So they can find me on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm Spiritual Auntie Tavia, as well as the Clan of the Crow on TikTok. And you can purchase any services. I offer Reiki, tarot. I do birth chart readings, and I'm also a Reiki master teacher. So if you're
Oh,
interested in learning
awesome.
Reiki, you can come over here and learn it from me. I also have a Patreon, which is the Clan of the Crow as well. And all my info is in my bio on any of my platforms. And I also have a podcast, the Clan of the Crow, on
Oh, awesome.
Spotify.
I
And
didn't
I
even
do
know
have,
that.
yeah, and I do
Okay.
have my narcissistic abusive relationship podcast on there as well. So
Okay.
but in this one, I go into a little bit more detail. So
Okay,
that's where you can find
awesome.
me.
All right. Thank you so much,
You're
Tavia, for
so
being with
welcome.
us today. Want to be part of an online community filled with other badass women supporting each other on their wicked journey? Check out my online community, the Wise Woman Network. We have classes, courses, online community meetings, and more. Activate that sleeping goddess within and unleash your divine power. Join me today on a free trial to all my listeners. Link is in the show notes. I'll see you there.